Welcome, Kelly Squires, to the Nook Pod.
Yes.
Hold on. We got to do some kind of an intro.
Yes, that
right?
was it.
Was that it? So I'm dying to talk to you about this one question.
Oh.
Because I think about it a lot.
Okay.
And I think it kind of, really resembles where we're going just as a business and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What does, we can't predict the future, but what does like the post-pandemic real estate market look like?
Ooh.
Anybody have an answer for that?
No.
I don't think anybody knows. It's impossible to know.
My crystal ball.
But we kind of might be able to have an educated guess.
I think so, because we're far enough into this now.
Exactly.
That there were some trends. I think in the COVID market, the COVID real estate market, at times it felt like a complete and utter mess. Like
just too much volatility.
Predict. It was like a terrible roller coaster ride. And then it started to show some signs of predictability.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
So there was, every time the COVID numbers were high, the amount of houses was low.
Exactly.
So low inventory. It was like, okay, we're in lockdown. COVID numbers are high. Okay, house inventory is going to drop. When house inventory drops, the buyers haven't disappeared.
No, they're still out there. They don't have anything else to do.
So that imbalance of supply and demand gets more significant. And then that's why each time you can almost track each time the market, like the values appreciated substantially, was in those low inventory times when COVID numbers were high and we were in lockdown. However, so that was the super predictable part. After, maybe fall, we started to see, this is
starting
happening.
to see a trend, right? Because it was so volatile.
Right.
In fact, we're going to pull up the numbers in a minute, but it was so volatile that it was impossible to know which way it was going to go, up, down. Like March 2020, when the interest rate went from 1.25 down to 0.25 on the overnight bank rate, like all hell broke loose, and no one knew what was going to happen.
And then it didn't immediately inject that activity into the market. We were all still sort of like, oh, wait now, what's going to happen next, right? There's like this big pause. And then what also added to the craziness that came after the pause was the fact that pause was in the spring market, when you typically would have had activity.
The most activity.
Yes. And not just any spring market, the spring market of recovery, because we had our 2017 rise and crash.
Yep.
2018 was a very flat year because of the new stress test mortgage rules.
Yep.
End of going into 2019, interest rates went up. So it kept things pretty flat again. And it wasn't until the end of 2019, when interest rates started to kind of level a little and we all got used to that stress test, that the market started to recover very quickly at the end of 2019. All of a sudden, things were going back into multiple bids.
Yeah, right in from the summer of 2019. And it just, you could feel the pressure building up for an explosive 2021.
Yes.
Or sorry, explosive 2020, no matter which way you looked at it.
Right. And
pandemic or not, it was going to be explosive. That first 3 months of that year was like...
It was crazy.
It just started shooting up.
It was our recovery year.
It was the recovery year.
And then in the middle of a booming recovery comes this extended pause.
Right.
Which almost never happens in our market.
The consolidation.
Like an actual no movement.
That's right. An actual no movement, an actual pause. So I'm looking at this chart here. I know you can't see it, but I'm recording the screen. I'm going to put it up on the screen. But so this is a calendar month, all values in Durham.
Right.
Right. So this is your average house price. This is that 2017 that you're talking about right here.
Right.
Right.
So you see, right? It goes up.
You can see it goes right up, and then it was pushed back down by stress test and by foreign tax and all kinds of different things. But then there was this massive consolidation period, and you can see it kind of rising.
2018, 2019, right?
And then right here, okay, so this little bump right there, that's average prices, and that's 2020. But if you look at sales, right around here, this is when COVID hit.
Right.
Right there. So this doesn't usually happen. This usually goes straight up, right? Or at least on par.
A little more, yeah.
But then there was this massive dip, and then look at that.
Right.
That's crazy. And then all this volatility, all these charts.
We rode that roller coaster, man.
We did ride this roller coaster. right?
Right?
It looks like a roller coaster.
It does.
And what was happening was it was pushing through that 2017 threshold of what prices had, the highest prices had ever been.
Never thought we'd see again.
And we never thought we'd see again. It just consolidates a little bit here at the end of 2021 when you're right, when we start seeing that trend. And then boom, look at this.
Right?
This is 800K to $1 million. That's $200,000 per average home in like 5 months.
It's insanity. And here's the thing. During that, so when you look back at it, it was all sort of predictable a little bit, right? So going back, like we knew 2020 was going to be our recovery year. It had already started. We didn't know, that's that little bump. We didn't know COVID was coming. COVID comes, it drops down because we all don't know what the heck we're doing.
Right.
And we think it's going to pass quickly.
I did.
Right? We were like, oh, let's just stay home.
May is going to be great. It was really like that.
Vacation.
God, I think we were just so naive as a whole. You know what I mean?
Truly.
Like maybe not everybody, but a lot of people were.
For sure.
Including myself.
Me too. You know, I was panicking. Like, I don't have like, nope. When I opened this brokerage, I didn't get like broker pandemic training.
Right.
How to run your real estate, how to advise 30 agents on what to do, you know? So it was scary. And
Zoom.
So
we got onto Zoom really quick.
Zoom and never look back. But
it went almost military style. It's like, we got to meet. We got to discuss what could happen here.
I was like, listen, this is what we're doing. Also, not that I need to go and rant about the powers that be in real estate, but we didn't get a ton of guidance.
That's right.
About how we should be conducting business. It was a little vague. So each brokerage was sort of left up to, with some general rules, come up with their own protocol, which was stressful.
That is very stressful.
So we figured it out.